Okay. Good evening, everybody. This is the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for the town of Eastham. Today is July 11th, 2024. This is a partially remote participation meeting. The members of the zoning board, with the exception of myself. Wait a minute, I take that back. We are in the Earl Mountain Room at Town Hall. Applicants and the public may participate in person here or online through the Zoom app or by phoning in. The meeting will be live broadcast on Local Access Channel 18 and live streaming on the town website. Under the executive order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law signed by our former governor, Charlie Baker, on March 12th, 2020, all members in any meeting of the public body may participate remotely. I'm Joanne Verlinden, Chair of the Zoning Board, and I'll be conducting the meeting tonight with the help of my colleagues. The procedures we will follow as we proceed through the meeting are thus. I will introduce the case to be heard, name the board members who will be seating on the case. This will be followed by a presentation by the applicant or the applicant's agent, in this case, Mr. Ben Zender. This case is a request for a special permit for a residential site plan approval. Following that, board members may ask questions of the applicant or Mr. Zender regarding various aspects of the case. At any point in the discussion, the applicant may request a continuance to make appropriate revisions to the application. If a hearing is to be continued to a later meeting, a motion is required and shall require a date certain for the hearing to be resumed. Any revised plans or supplemental information for the board shall be submitted not later than the Thursday prior to the next regularly scheduled meeting. When the board members have finished with their questions, we'll open the meeting to abutters and other interested members of the public. When it appears that there are no more questions, we'll close the meeting to the public. The board shall then discuss the application and, when ready, proceed to the readings of the finding of fact, followed by a motion to either approve or amend. Next, there will be a reading of conditions, again followed by motion to either approve or amend. And the last order of business will be to decide whether to approve the applicant's request. At any point before a final vote is taken, the applicant may request that the application be withdrawn without prejudice. This means that the case is not dismissed forever and that the applicant can try again at a later time with better data or more information for the board's review. Our case tonight is case number CBA 2024-5, 20 Windy Bay Road, map 10, parcel 89X, Anthony J. Chapman III and Susan L. Chapman, owners, seek a site plan approval residential special permit pursuant to Eastham zoning bylaw section 7.4, residential lot intensity, subsection 7.4.9.1, site plan approval special permit, and section 10.3, site plan approval residential, to construct a new addition, a covered porch, and relocate an existing rinse station or outdoor shower, and expand an existing deck on a property that is pre-existing non-conforming to the site coverage standards under section 7.4.3. Seated on this case will be Martin Ridge, Jared Carey, Douglas Bird, Justin Kennington, and myself. And Mr. Zender, if you would like to talk to us.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. For the board's pleasure, my name is Ben Zender. I'm here on behalf of Tony and Susan Chapman, who are also available on the screen to your right to answer any questions and to participate if need be. This, you're a little unusual and interesting. You're actually sitting here as the residential site plan review permit granting authority as opposed to your typical role in granting a special permit under the zoning bylaw generally. So the standards you're working under are a little different, and Mr. Lag and his staff have prepared what I think is a very well prepared staff memo that outlines the standards and proposed responses as we've identified them as well. The property at 20 Windy Bay Road is a single family residential structure. I think you all have been out there. It's a nicely constructed structure in good shape. Tony and Susan would like to make it a little bit more livable for them. The structure already at 3,300 square feet of site coverage exceeds the amount allowable under your new zoning bylaw from last year, 7.4. So you have a provision of that bylaw that says where a structure is non-conforming as to site coverage, you can exceed it up to a certain amount based on the percentage that that lot would enjoy of site coverage max. And in the event of the grant of that permit, then your board is the permit granting authority. So what they're proposing is to add 311 square feet of site coverage. And you've all been out there. Essentially what they'd like to do is put a small covered porch on the front of the house, an attractive little covered porch that will be 49 feet from Windy Bay Road, so it'll be well outside of the front yard setback. They would like to add a small addition to the rear of the house on the right-hand side when looking at the house from the backyard. And I'm sure you all went around to the backyard and looked at the house. There's a section on the right that they'd like to add a small addition to. And the plans show the elevations of that addition. They would also like to move their outdoor shower, I still call it that, from the left side of the house over to the right side where the new addition is. And then they would like to extend the deck on the left side of the house in the back, looking at it from the backyard, over to the edge of the building. So they're not creating any new nonconformities on the structure. They're not going any closer to a sideline or a rear line or a front line. They're still staying within the allowable expansion numbers as set forth in section 7.4 of the bylaw, but they do have to demonstrate compliance with the standards for residential site plan review that are, with your board's permission, I won't go into them. They're outlined in both of our application, also in the staff memo. So one question came up as part of the staff review is whether or not the gravel drive is really a gravel drive. I went out today and looked at it. It really is a gravel drive. It's just kind of, the grass is kind of grown up into the gravel, which I think is kind of nice. But the driveway is well delineated by granite cobblestones on the sides, so you're very clear that you know where you're going. I'm sure you went out there, you saw the boat trailer was parked there, and there's clear access into the garage, and there's also, I think there's clear access out to the street, and it's a fairly wide and accessible driveway. So we hope that you find that it does meet the requirements of the bylaw in that regard. So I'll hold my comments there with the board's permission and with the chair's permission, and just try to answer any questions that you might have.
In the staff report, page 4, there are 2 notations. One at the top of page 4, that the applicant's engineer is preparing a design to remove the existing septic system and install a new upgraded system shown at the location on the site plan. However, the design engineering has not been completed. They're asking us to consider the application and issue a special permit subject to review and approval by the health department.
Certainly.
I don't know how my other colleagues feel about that, but maybe we could have some comment.
No, I don't have any feedback on it, other than that, was it a proposal that they're doing it, or are they absolutely
They're-
doing the new septic system?
They're going to be doing it. They're going to be upgrading the septic system. I don't believe that either the location of the operation of the septic system really has any impact on the standards that you're operating under for residential site plan review.
Oh, I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, I understand. I
What's
agree.
going on there?
And in any approval that you grant, in any case, is always subject to whatever other permitting is required, whether it's health permitting or building code and all that. So they're going to have to comply with it, not only Title V, but also the town's health regulations, which are stricter in most respects than Title V.
So in a sense, are they asking for kind of a waiver here that we?
We're not, no, we're
we
not asking
approve
for a
these?
waiver. We're just identifying that they have not yet gone through the process of approving a septic system.
Okay,
So we would expect that, you would issue a condition that it's subject to, all required permitting.
okay.
Yeah, I don't have any concerns with that.
Justin, any comments?
I think that part makes perfect sense to me.
Okay.
Yeah,
you're
I
all right.
agree. Makes perfect
Okay.
sense.
Okay, and then, excuse me, there's a staff note under, excuse me, number 3 about that driveway. Are they going to re-gravel? Are they going to move it at all?
No, they're not proposing to, if the board's permission, I'm gonna allow Tony or Susan to weigh in on what their intentions are with the driveway. we're just, I'm just stating for the board's record that the driveway's there.
Okay.
It's
yes, we can see
accessible,
that.
it's usable. I pulled in and parked my car there.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
I think from a visual standpoint, the grass growing up into the driveway may or may not be what the board likes, but I think either Tony or Susan can weigh in as to
Yeah.
what their intentions are with the driveway with
Okay.
with the chair's permission.
This is Susan right here. Our
Hello, Susan.
intention is to re-gravel the driveway after the construction is done.
Okay, thank you. Um,
The only issue, only reason that was raised in the staff report was just to confirm that there's no expansion to the driveway that would impact the 6-foot
Right.
buffer that's supposed
Right.
to be on the
Okay.
side of the road. So
Okay.
that's all,
all right, very good.
side of the property line.
Okay.
Do we know, is the existing driveway in that 6-foot zone? Can't see any dimensions here that tell me that. It looks like probably not, but. I'm
Well,
curious
it
if we
has to be
know.
because you have to cross the 6-foot zone to get out to the street.
No,
So
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm- Of course, on the roadside, I'm looking
Yeah,
at the side, of the
on the
lot there,
side,
where, just eyeballing this diagram says probably not, but I'm just curious if we know whether or not.
Yeah, we didn't measure that, and I think the bylaw requires that you maintain existing vegetation within the 6 foot. I don't think you're required to replant or create. the
Sure, well,
vegetation.
that's why I think it would be relevant, right? If it was
yeah.
already in that zone,
Right,
then.
yeah. I think it may well be. I'm just counting that out in my head.
Yeah, just like you can see on the photos. There is some trees and things on the side of that driveway, and that the whole intention of that perimeter bylaw was just where it exists to keep it, not to go off on a tangent. There is capacity for work to be done by the applicant in that zone, but there's a procedure for that. So just
Okay,
if they're not planning to touch anything there,
Yep.
then there really is no
okay,
issue.
not a problem.
Okay.
Anybody else with questions or concerns?
I would just note that in these photos provided, there does appear to be a car in that driveway and in a little corner of this.
It's a boat trailer.
What I see is the front of a car.
Oh, okay, maybe you're looking at a different picture.
No, there's a car there.
Oh, there is a car there. Yes, you're right.
The earliest.
When I was there, the boat trailer was parked next to
Got
the
it,
garage.
got it, yeah.
Okay,
It's fine for both.
all right. Any other questions or concerns, anybody?
No, I don't think so. I think the additions fit within the new scope of the newly adopted zoning laws.
Yeah.
Outlined very well in the application, and we're just below it. I think we seek clarification on that Paul gave us clarification was that the uncovered deck does not count towards site coverage. That was the only question I had previous to today.
Right.
So I'm.
Just a question for the other board members. So is this decision consistent with decisions that we've made in the past? So it should be 3,000 square feet. It's non-conforming at 3,300. They're adding 300, so it's going to be 3,611. Is that the approval of that type of expansions consistent with what we've done before?
Well, we haven't had this kind of a case.
This
Yes.
is
First
this
time.
Our
is the
first
first
one.
of these cases since the zoning was
Okay.
reviewed 18 months ago.
So we're going to establish the precedent tonight.
So this is a nice
There you go.
straightforward one. We're
There you go.
running through the dry.
It's
Yeah.
history, folks.
And
Yeah.
so there is a not a loophole. There is an interesting position in that if you buy or own or purchase a piece of property that's non-conforming, that's too large, not too large, but larger than current zoning, you are allowed to increase it. If you were just below,
You can't.
You cannot.
You'd be more limited, right?
Yeah, there's a calculator included in the package that shows the allowable.
Yeah.
Be my house.
Okay, let's move on then.
That was my
to-
question. Why
Oh.
didn't they go to the maximum allowable?
I don't know. I mean, I could ask for continuance,
Had
see if I
another-
can squeeze another
Yeah.
square feet in there, but.
I don't have that much
No
money to
ceiling
go
on
to
the
the
deck.
They'll be
maximum.
back next year to put another piece of something.
Yeah, I think really, I think the design drove.
Yeah,
what they
I
wanted.
think it's very, exactly. It makes the
will
house
look
very
nice when
livable.
it's
It makes the
finished.
house very
I think it will,
livable.
yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And it doesn't change the vision from the road. It's the
No,
same
no,
look
you
and
see the
feel
same
from the
thing
road.
from the
Nothing
road.
really changes.
Yeah.
So. And the abutters behind haven't objected.
We haven't received any objections, and it's, and as the board members, some of you were out there, that, those homes and yards are pretty well developed.
Yeah.
And there's good planting.
And there's a fence between this house and the people behind
Right.
with some plantings along there, so visually it's
So we'll see it.
pretty much.
I did have a general question on, first for Ben is,
Yeah.
I noticed the bulkhead is being covered by the deck. So is
Yeah.
the bulkhead being relocated for access to the
No,
basement?
I think that, Tony might be able to weigh in. I think there's a technology that they have now that allows you to actually access bulkheads through decks.
Okay.
Through the deck, they put a,
Yeah,
More-
I
more
don't know,
doors
I
on the
don't know
deck or
exactly what's
something?
happening here. So Tony can weigh in, but I was watching some information just out of my own personal interest. This company has developed these new technologies that you can actually get down through decks and and they actually provide fire egress for basement apartments and things
Sure,
like that.
yeah.
They're pretty interesting. So I don't know exactly what they're planning here, but I would imagine that they're going to have, bulkhead access through the deck.
Yes, the bulkhead will
topic
not
of-
be moved. You're absolutely correct.
I think
We are
Tony's
gonna,
speaking.
Tony, we
we-
can't hear you.
we are planning to use that new technology Ben is speaking about. Both our builder and Ryder and Wilcox are familiar with it. It allows entry through the deck to that to the basement and egress without moving the Bilco doors.
Okay, thank you.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, shall we
Here,
move,
wait for
let's move
furniture.
to findings of fact.
Right, Joanne,
hmm?
sorry, just one housekeeping thing. There was request for some waivers from some of the
Right.
things. So if you want to go through that and then it'll,
We have approved the waivers.
Yeah.
For some of the engineering drawings.
Where did they go? They're in here somewhere.
Near the end, waiver request, if you'd like it, I have it
Oh,
here.
okay, thank you. Okay, they're asking for waivers from the following things. Existing or proposed septic upgrades and letter of review from the Health Department or Board of Health. We will make. I think we should add a condition that we would like to have that health review on the septic system taken care of.
we have, that's part of our standard condition.
Right, okay. The depiction of the site plan. They want a waiver on the existing and proposed topography showing 2-foot contours, benchmark and significant land features. There, there aren't any wetlands, streams, bodies of water, drainage, swales, or any areas subject to flooding. I think we could grant that.
I just want to make sure I understand. I think there must be a standard for some specific type of topography map, and they're asking, can we please not provide that map?
Yes, that's what they're
Okay,
saying.
then I
normally, like,
understand.
Yes,
So if you had a lot that was on the water and we had to talk
Sure.
about contours and stuff. so
Sure.
We're on a flat.
No,
level.
the request makes sense though.
all right. The next item was the proposed landscape plan or narrative description explaining the location, description of screening, fencing, plantings, and so on. And they're not proposing to do any really major landscaping or grade changes. The only removal of vegetation is 2 shrubs next to the existing second entrance where the kitchen will be extended, and the removal of grass where the deck will be extended. So could we have a motion to approve the waiver requests?
My motion that we.
All right,
I'm
Second.
sorry, can we talked about just
Yeah,
slowing down a
yes.
little bit on this
Yeah.
to make sure I know who is making the motion.
Right. Martin,
second?
Martin Ridge
I'll make the motion.
is proposing that we agree to the waivers,
And I would second it.
and Doug is seconding. All right.
Thank you, guys.
All right, now let's move on to findings of fact, and Jared, would you?
We need to
read those?
vote to approve the waivers?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Okay. Everybody in favor of approving these waivers?
Aye.
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 and aye. Okay, so the vote here is 5-0. And now, Jared, you will read the findings of fact for us, please.
Sure.
Proposed findings of fact, the zoning board of appeals finds that the property is located at 20 Windy Bay. Sorry, number one, the property is located at 20 Windy Bay Road, map 10, parcel 89X, and is located in District A residential. Number two, the applicant has applied site plan approval residential special permit pursuant to Eastham zoning bylaw section 7.4, residential lot intensity subsections 7.4.9.1, site plan approval special permit, and section 10.3 site plan approval residential to construct a new addition, a covered porch, relocate an existing rent station, and expand existing deck on a property that is pre-existing non-conforming to the site coverage standards under section 7.4.3. Number three, per zoning bylaw section 7.4.9, the ZBA is authorized as the special permit granting authority for site plan review, special permit under section 10 of the zoning bylaw for any addition, expansion, or construction on a residential lot that is pre-existing non-conforming to the site coverage standards under section 7.4.2.1. Number four, the current pre-existing non-conforming site coverage at 20 Windy Bay is 16.3%, 3,300 square feet on a 20,200 square foot lot where 13% of lot area or 3,000 square foot, whichever is greater, is the maximum allowed. Therefore, the dwelling is pre-existing non-conforming to the site coverage limit per section 7.4.3. Pre-existing non-conforming structures may expand by multiplying the maximum site coverage percentage corresponding to the size of the lot to the structure's existing gross floor area. 3,300 square feet by 13% equals 429 square foot expansion limit. The proposed project is 311 square foot expansion, resulting in a 17.8% or 3,611 square foot site coverage. The proposed site coverage is within the permitted expansion limit. Number five, the proposed project does not negatively impact existing native vegetation in soil or grade changes. No landscaping changes or tree removal proposed except the removal of 2 shrubs. Driveway in the site plan is not currently well defined on the lot, but is drawn as existing versus proposed. Applicant should confirm that there will not be tree or other landscaping removal when if driveway is installed.
Can we scratch that? We've already reviewed that.
Yes, I think we could.
Number 5. Everything after the colon.
Okay.
Yeah.
On that,
Is that all right, Paul? We don't have a
Mhm.
problem with that, do we?
Everything after 2 shrubs?
yes, after 2
Just
shrubs.
say the driveway layout has been confirmed.
All right, I'll read that one again. The proposed project does not negatively impact existing native vegetation and soil or grade changes. Driveway impact has been confirmed.
Yeah.
It's number 6, the proposed project does relate harmoniously to the terrain and to the use scale and proportions of existing and proposed buildings in the neighborhood. The height of the dwelling will not change from 22.8 feet. The scale of the additions are keeping with the architecture of the home and other homes in the neighborhood. The proposed front porch is dormered and the addition has offset lowered roof line on one side in comparison to the existing house roof line that will help reduce the massing. Number 7, prevailing characteristics of the neighborhood are preserved by the plan as presented. The area that comprises the 300-foot abutter radius, Windy Bay Road, McCoy Road, Captain Michael Road, Thumpertown Road, Herringbrook Road, Ware Road, and Toder Road, consists of dwellings containing single-family structures in similar size and architectural styles, especially the direct neighbors on Windy Bay Road. Number 8, the proposed project does avoid impact on steep slopes, floodplains, hilltops, dunes, scenic views, and wetlands. The site is not located within any resource areas. No detrimental issues were identified. Number 9, the proposed project does not have existing unique or significant environmental resources. The site is not located within any resource areas. No detrimental issues were identified. Number 10, this proposed site plan does maximize the convenience and safety of vehicular and pedestrian movement within the site and in relationship to adjacent ways. Windy Bay Road is a cul-de-sac road with no through traffic. The proposed driveway at 20 Windy Bay Road is flat and straight with adequate sight lines for vehicles entering and exiting the property. No detrimental impacts to the existing traveled way have been identified. Number 11, the Zoning Board of Appeals grants a waiver the following items. Existing or proposed septic upgrades and letter of review from the health agent or Board of Health approval being submitted with this application. The applicants ask the ZBA consider this application and issue any special permit subject to review and approval by the Health Department and or Board of Health of a new septic system. Depiction on site plan of existing and proposed topography showing 2-foot contours showing benchmark used and significant land features, natural and man-made, including but not limited to the location of wetlands, streams, bodies of water, drainage swales, and areas subject to flooding, and also any existing native vegetation. The applicant's property is developed level lot in a developed residential neighborhood. The topography is flat and there is no proposal to change it. There are no significant land features. Depiction on site plan of the existing and proposed location of loading areas, walkways, and the location and number of parking spaces. The site plan shows the existing driveway and walkway, neither of which will be changed. There are no loading areas delineated parking spaces at the property. Proposed landscape plan or narrative description explaining the location and description of screening, fencing, planting, significant trees, and finished grade contour. The applicants do not propose any landscaping, screening, fencing, new plantings, or grade changes. The only removal of vegetation that is proposed is 2 shrubs next to the existing second entrance where the kitchen will be extended, and the removal of grass where the deck will be extended. Number 12, no letters of
Real
concern.
quick question. In 11, the first bullet, should the second sentence of that say the ZBA issues this special permit subject to review and approval of the Health Department and the Board of Health of the new septic service? Rather than the applicant asks that we do that, isn't the waiver subject to?
Should be, I think.
Right. Does that sound right?
It's fine.
Because we're issuing this subject to their
Yeah,
approval,
it's like a cut and paste.
right? Yeah, so it should say the ZBA issues this special permit subject to the review and approval by the Health Department and or the Board of Health of a new septic system.
Yeah, the applicant asks must have been cut and paste from the Ben's letter.
Okay, sorry.
Shall we read that?
Hold on a second.
Okay, yeah, why don't you, the applicant, no, the ZBA issues this waiver.
Special permit. For this
Subject to-
waiver, you're right. That's
A question, we voted 10 minutes ago on accepting the waivers.
Right.
Which way is preferable, Paul, to leave it in the, because we're going to be voting to accept this staff report in a moment. So we probably could have skipped that first round of voting.
Yeah.
Paul, is that correct?
Well, you voted to grant the waivers, and then this is just stating that you did grant, because the finding of fact is stating what happened, so that's why you need to take the vote in order. We're just confirming what you did a few minutes ago, that you did grant the waivers.
Okay,
that
great,
makes sense.
okay, thank you.
Okay.
okay. Sorry.
Number 12, no letters of concern were received and no abutters appeared in favor or in opposition to the project. Number 13, after an evaluation of all the evidence presented and based on the finding of fact, the proposed alterations to the pre-existing non-conforming dwelling will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood or the public welfare than the existing non-conforming structure.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve the findings of fact?
So moved.
I'll second that
Doug
motion.
Bird, moved,
Sorry, who
and
made the
Martin
motion?
Ridge.
Doug Bird
And then I seconded it.
and Martin second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and Justin, will you read the conditions, please, the proposed conditions?
Proposed condition, number 1. No building permit shall be issued until the application complies with all pertinent sections of the Town of Eastham zoning bylaw. Number 2, all exterior light fixtures shall be down shielded with a fully enclosed fixture to reduce light spill and nuisances to adjacent properties. Number 3, the applicant shall verify final bedroom count and septic design for adequacy with the approved plan with the Eastham Health Department, and if necessary, shall obtain Board of Health approval prior to issuance of a building permit. Number 4, the applicant is responsible for providing building plans to the Eastham Building and Fire Departments. Plans shall contain information on construction methods and materials sufficient to conduct a full code compliance review. Plan reviews conducted by town staff as part of this approval have been conducted for conformance with applicable sections of the zoning bylaw and for adequacy of the site for public safety access and environmental impacts. An additional plan review for health and safety code compliance will be required and may result in changes to the approved plans. Any changes to the proposed site plan dated May 23rd, 2024, or the elevation and floor plans labeled November 11, 2021, sheets A1.0, A1.1, A1.2, except those that are de minimis, must be reviewed by the planning board,
Zoning.
by the zoning board.
By the zoning board.
Makes sense? If the zoning board finds a change to be substantial, renotice is necessary for a new hearing.
Mr. Chair.
The dates.
Yeah, I'm not sure the dates are consistent with what I was looking at in the motion or in the conditions.
The November 11th and May 23rd.
Yeah, my site plan. Is
I have
April
a site plan with April 24. in front of
April
me.
24, 2024. And the floor plans and elevations are June 6, 2024.
Okay, site plan is dated April what?
April 24, 2024.
Yeah, that's what I've got in front of me. You said June.
And the elevation,
Elevations and floor plans are June 6, 2024. 4 pages of 4. They don't have those sheets A 1.0, A 1.1 designations.
so those sheets don't apply.
No, just say elevation floor plans labeled November 11. I'm sorry, dated June 6, 2024, 4 pages.
Got it.
Let's try this again. Proposed condition number 4. Is that number 4 still? Yep. The applicant is responsible for providing building plans to the Eastham Building and Fire Departments. Plans shall contain information on construction methods and materials sufficient to conduct a full code compliance review. Plan reviews conducted by town staff as part of this approval have been conducted for conformance with applicable sections of the zoning bylaw and for adequacy of the site for public safety access and environmental impacts. An additional plan review for health and safety code compliance will be required and may result in changes to the approved plan. Any changes to the proposed site plan dated April 24th, 2024, or the elevation and floor plans labeled June 6th, 2024, several sheets on that date, 4 sheets, except those that are de minimis, must be reviewed by the zoning board. If the board finds a change to be substantial, renotice is necessary for a new hearing. Number 5, the applicant/owner shall maintain the existing perimeter vegetation in
Just-
accordance.
Let
Yes.
me just say to take off that last sentence on this one, number 5,
Coming up,
that you're reading now.
you got it. I'm going to skip the italics on that one. You got it. Number 5, the applicant owner shall maintain the existing perimeter vegetation in accordance with zoning bylaw section 7.2.6 perimeter vegetation. An area not less than 6 feet in width measured from and perpendicular to the lot line around the perimeter of the lot shall be maintained with trees, shrubs, or other plants in order to keep and or create a naturalized buffer between properties. Portions of this area may be paved for pedestrian and vehicular access, but at no time shall the pedestrian and or vehicular access be located within 6 feet of the side property lines. Number 6, landscaping within the 6-foot property perimeter may be undertaken at any point in the future per zoning bylaw section 10.1.6 perimeter vegetation. Clear cutting of vegetation within the 6-foot perimeter vegetation setback, where removal of vegetation is not subject to any other regulatory review, may be approved by the
Zoning board,
It would be the planning board in that.
or would
case.
it be the, okay. thank you.
planning board or its designee, so they could designate us, without a public hearing, provided that abutters sharing a common lot line have been notified of proposed site work no less than 14 days prior to the date of approval, and no abutter has requested a public hearing. In making its determination, the planning board or its designee shall utilize applicable sections of zoning bylaw section 10, site plan approval. Number 7, the applicant shall file the site plan approval decision letter with the Barnstable County Registry of Deeds and provide a copy to the building department prior to issuance of a building permit. And finally, number 8, the zoning board reserves the right to monitor the ongoing construction for compliance with the approved plan.
Okay, very well. May I have a motion to approve the conditions?
Motion to approve.
Okay, Jared, and a second, please.
I second it.
Justin, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion approved, 5-0. All right, may I have a motion to approve or deny the application before us for case number ZBA 2024-5?
So moved by Doug Bird.
Okay, Doug Bird, moved. Approve,
I'll second that.
okay. I'm gonna take a count vote. Justin? Yes or no?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and myself. So we have an approval, 5-0.
Thank you all.
You're welcome. And congratulations to the owners. Okay.
Thank you very
Um,
much.
We now have minutes from 3 previous meetings. Angie and I spent some time in her office the other day, making a few corrections. I see only one problem. That is on the minutes for June 6th, my name is misspelled.
Oh, boy.
Have to adjourn.
Everywhere.
Just number 2 cases. And under number 2 cases, number 1, seated on the case, Bridge, Sheldon, Bird, Kennington, and Verlinden.
So I have a question on the June 6th minutes
Okay.
and the approval for Harm's Way. The approval reads that we grant the variance, I'll skip over some language, to demolish and build in compliance with current floodplain where the proposed building will exceed the 30-foot building height limit. I thought we approved the approval of exceeding it by a certain amount. I know there was a subject on the lower, but as I recall, it was, would exceed the 30-foot limit by, I don't know whether it was a foot, 2 feet, whatever the number was. But the way I read this, they could exceed it by 30 feet, by 5 feet. And it would still fit within the variance.
My recollection was 3 feet.
Yeah, and I don't remember the number.
Yeah, that was my recollection.
Yeah.
But the videos are out there if you need to go figure it out, but
Right.
my recollection, it was like 3 feet.
I think you're right.
That
I believe you're right.
item is, yeah. Next page, of the discussion. That. 18.5 feet versus 17 feet.
Where are you, please?
I saw that, but that's the lowest horizontal structure member. That's the bottom, not the top. Oh,
That's what the height's gonna be based off. You have to establish that. And then the house, where I forget the height of the house was like 25 point something feet. So it's gonna be 25 point something for the house
Mhm.
at elevation 18.5. That total height is what and that's gonna put it over the 30 feet at that. Whatever.
But my point is, I
Yeah,
think if
yes,
Bob-
but
if
by how
Bob's number's
much?
Right,
But by how much?
that's right. Yeah, so to Bob's point, if they prove the horizontal lower structure, but they proposed exceeding it by 3 feet, but they came in and they built something that exceeded it by 10 feet, technically, this variance still covers that. Because we're just saying you can build anything over 30 feet. So should it say exceed the 30-foot building height limit as proposed by the applicant?
No, you
No.
shouldn't be that general. I think we had a number.
I thought
The number ought to
so.
be in here. I think you need to go back to the video to figure it out, but we had a number.
You did approve it, I'm certain.
That's what I thought.
I guess your concern, like, they can't go and do whatever they want.
That's my
You
concern.
want- Yeah, you did You didn't lock it in a certain number.
That's
We'll
right.
Go back and confirm that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
Remind
okay.
me where that is again.
Page 8 of June.
Page 8, so it's simply they exceed the 30-foot building height limit by 3 feet,
Yeah,
whatever that
whatever it
that
turned out to
number
be,
is.
because we ended up with so many different elevations, and we end
Exactly.
up, you know, certainly it's not 18 plus 30,
That's
because the zero level isn't 18. Zero number is like 12 and a half. I mean,
That's
but
right.
that was all in in
That's
the
right.
discussion.
That's right.
I thought about moving to convert everything to metric in the meeting, but
Mhm.
I decided not to.
thank you.
I don't want to disrupt the view of the people up on the hill, you know.
All right, so let's,
So I-
That's his
one other
Canadian
question on the
experience.
June minutes.
yes.
I don't recall that I was appointed as the clerk of the ZBA. It wasn't, I don't know.
I thought it said,
I'm the
Where,
clerk
Doug, where does it say that?
on page 9, where we did reorganization of the
Oh,
board.
oh,
I thought it was me, to be fair.
I thought it
yeah,
was.
it's you,
It's-
right, you,
right?
yes.
It's not me, right? Because I'm
No.
the clerk of so.
oh,
many
it is Miss.
I'm the
it's
clerk of
Miss-
so many organizations. I don't need another one.
I don't know about you, but my page 9 looks like this,
That page was essentially left blank.
apparently.
All right,
So that should be Bob Sheldon.
okay,
Okay,
all right.
okay. I'll
It's
stop.
not the clerk.
Say that again, the last change.
Page 9 in June.
Page
It's,
9?
Bob Sheldon is.
Instead
clerk.
of Douglas
Well,
Bird as
something
clerk, I
like
think
page
it's Bob
Yeah.
Sheldon. should
Oh,
be.
page 9 looks like this.
And not ink.
All right,
instead of
let-
I don't know. 9 sure.
Oh, that,
Clerk. I don't need to be clerk for another.
Whatever.
Redacted.
I would like to hold off on approving June 6th until we get a clear copy with these changes.
Sounds fair.
But I would like a motion to approve the minutes from March 7th and May 2nd.
Well,
Doug?
we should do them separately.
We should. do it
Yeah,
separately.
okay,
I would move that we approve the draft minutes of the March 7th, 2024 meeting of the Eastham Zoning Board of Appeals.
I'll second that.
just a minute, please. So we're approving March minutes first.
Yeah.
And who second?
That was me.
Justin.
Justin, okay. And then to approve the minutes for May. Will someone give me a
We
motion?
vote on March?
We vote.
We did March.
Need
Vote, vote,
need a vote.
vote.
Moved and
Yes.
seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you for keeping me on track. Okay, and then,
I see a clerkship in my future.
and then,
Yours, Justin.
and then the minutes, to approve the minutes for May.
I move to approve the draft meeting minutes for May 2nd.
I'll second that.
Okay,
Doug Bird seconded.
all right. And a vote,
Aye.
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 all right, me too, so that's 5-0.
Six.
Thank you,
Metric.
except you're not
I
seated.
guess I'm not actually here. 'cause I
No,
called
you're
in
not,
sick.
yeah, you told me you weren't here.
Yeah.
It is nice to see you here.
Can't wait till we have to approve the July minutes.
Whether here or not. We had a doctor's appointment in Hyannis at 4:30 so I couldn't have made it, but then they moved it earlier, and then I got home and I go, why am I staying at home? I should be there.
That was good of you,
I know,
and it went well,
it did.
good, I'm glad to hear that. All right, how about a motion to adjourn
Just a quick note that there are no cases submitted for
or
August.
August? Okay, thank you,
So
good.
we'll be.
Everybody can have a
approving-
vacation and enjoy Labor Day weekend.
Should that be,
No,
in the?
no, thank you.
Another agenda.
Is that something that may change at this point, or is that it's too late to change that?
Pass the deadline?
Okay,
We
that's what I
did- we-
thought you meant.
I
but
don't know why it's,
Before I
oh,
go
that's
deleting
right.
things from a calendar, you know?
We have an agenda item that we've already taken care of a month ago. The board reorganization, so you can just scratch that from your agenda. We are, I think, reorganized.
We're official.
We are officially reorganized.
Everybody, you may want to ask if everybody has been sworn in by the clerk.
Oh, there's a, yes, has everyone been sworn in to for your new term? Yes,
Yep.
yes, yes.
No, I've heard nothing about such things, but it is July, isn't it? So no, I haven't. Who should I talk to?
You just stop by the
The
clerk's
clerk.
office.
Okay.
Go to the clerk's
Just stop
office.
us. There's a form you have to sign and.
And I'm still having a few go-arounds with the clerk about what term it is, when it ends, are you replacing somebody? And I intended to get to it before this meeting. I didn't get there, I'm sorry. We've been having air conditioning problems at our house and crews of workmen in ripping out things and putting back things. I will do that before we next meet, so I'll have a list of everybody's term number, when it expires, when your ethics stuff is
Training.
due, and also addresses, phone numbers, and emails. My apologies. Yes.
Okay.
Worries.
Just have one other thing, other business. So
Other business.
the zoning task force, of which Martin is going to, not to put you on the spot, but you're going to be the new zoning board rep
Oh, good.
to that group, correct?
All right.
And
So we should
That-
vote to approve that? Send him
Yep.
off with high praise?
yeah, I'm assuming it's, if you still want to do it, you're on.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I knew the answer to that, but just to make sure, yeah, you can approve that. I just want to, but the update is, the task force itself is going to resume meeting in September. In the meantime, I'm working with the chair, Mary Nee, and our zoning consultants to, brush up the draft document. And this is to do with zoning, redoing the zoning for the commercial districts, Northeastham.
Mm.
And so we're working, a lot of work is being done over the summer, kind of behind the scenes. And then in September, the task force will start to meet again and review the document as it is and start to get this final draft in order. And we'll be working through the fall and next winter leading up to, this is all going to culminate next May, has to go to town meeting. And so it's a pretty substantial amendment process. There's a lot of changes. So we are, reworking a lot of stuff. And the goal for the fall and the winter will be to have some public, education on this, some meetings, and then walk through it with the planning board and the zoning board and try to, so we'll be mapping out that process, try to break this into bite-sized chunks so that everyone can understand it and kind of move forward. So hopefully, things go orderly. So I just want the board to know that that's the status,
Okay.
and Martin will be working with, so he'll be your liaison to that.
Okay.
And I'm happy to talk with anyone at any point during, in between, if you're interested or want to know more, but we'll be scheduling workshops and things in the fall and winter with the zoning board.
Okay. So could we have a motion to approve Martin Ridge as our representative to the residential zoning task force?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Okay.
No vote.
And a vote.
Yeah.
Justin,
Aye.
you, me? You,
Aye.
okay, 6-0. All right. And thank you very much for agreeing to do that. That is a big, big job you've taken on.
I think most of the work's been done.
Oh, there's still a lot
You're
more.
gonna
Don't worry.
find out differently. Okay, now how about a motion to adjourn? Unless y'all want to stay for dinner or something.
We could adjourn and then have dinner.
Okay. Okay, a motion,
A motion that we adjourn?
okay, and a second,
Second.
okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.